Routing is extremely confusing in here. You can only imagine that the occupants had rooms that were their favorites. If only to reduce the amount of mileage they consumed every day, roaming from room to room, as you and I are doing right now. But again, the rooms go on and on. Surely some rooms were simply walked quickly through, carpet being replaced more often than not. Certainly this looks like the room of a woman. Whoa. That's interesting, isn't it? Almost a tropical scene. Even this stove is a different and pretty motif. Pretty little table. We enter into a bedroom appropriately lit. And I'm guessing a woman's bedroom. That bed has all that aura to it. That's interesting. It's a large corner stove, a fancy makeup table. Notice how the leaves on the right and left fold onto the table, as does the mirror fold down into the table. A clock. Be interesting to know the provenance of that. Here a toilet or a very fancy thunder mug with woven seats. 2 toilets. How quaint that they should be disguised. Look at that ceiling. So this must be the woman's toilet room, and maybe it functions as a bidet also. Here she's meeting with a gentleman. Or a bed warmer, that would be filled with coals. It's glowing now with a red light, and then stuck underneath the sheets and the covers at the foot of the bed.
Used before the bed itself was used.
Some of the costumes, fine lace. Again, the quality of the lace, like the quality of the paintings, the furniture, the ceramics, all would have added to the cachet of the people who owned this place. Did these come from Asia? Or were they made perhaps in Italy? Ugly skull caps that women might wear, or worse, a wig. Aren't these beautiful though? It's just plain chunks of art. They're pretty. And some quite dramatic, colored. The period pieces of the time, the movies, make this costume come alive. Certainly that should be in vogue in the United States. Wonder what these little bottles were for. Did they hold things like perfume or opium or... They're very small, almost surgical in size. Women's care devices, including fingernail cuticle managers. But what each of these little gizmos was for is a darn interesting question. Some of them look downright insidious. But what quaint little boxes held them. You can imagine a man giving one of these to his lover. Curious device, don't have a clue. My guess is this is some kind of a sleeping robe. Too much dragging on the ground. Notice how this stove could set the tenor of this room. Not sure that it does, but it could. Who was this proud man? The architect of this compound? It seems to be the case. Good for him. Others of repute And the age, or just a random bunch of pictures? None of the stories of the people whose photos or pictures we see on these walls. Notice the young age. Where are the other pictures of their old age? Where are the stories that tell us how they lived? Some kind of family tree. And oh, to be blessed to be on that. We go down a different stairway. Where and why this came from. See no way out, I assume this is it. Interesting weather vane, because it looks like this somehow, being in that form, points into the wind. There are a slew of others that probably embellished these buildings. (1741) or 1471. Interesting, this looks like the kind of stuff that comes off church floors, having covered for centuries bodies of the past. Probably earlier sculptured or worked stone from earlier iterations of the castle, maybe even the bells.
Various door hardware, including lock face plates. Door hinges.
Very simple stained glass approach to panes of glass. Stood somewhere on the grounds in the past. I think we are nearing our escape. Wonder whether they had a burial ground on the premises, because this is a man and a woman coupled. Now we'll roam these gardens to see what impressions and reflections we might have. It looks like the beginning of a maze. This is a pretty driveway down through here. I have to be careful denigrating in any way what I see here as I compare it to things like the Habsburgs or Versailles, because the histories are dramatically different. This is a country who has limited resources because of its occupation by the Nazis and the USSR. And it has many other priorities for its resources besides the pleasure of tourists. Long rows of hedges. Imagine this is as close as many of the people in that aristocracy may have chosen to get to the wild, the forest. This is the environ of intrigue, political, romantic, business, maybe of intellectual discourse to boot. Pretty, but not particularly interesting. As a practical matter, parts of it are left to nature. No doubt part of the entertainment here was to stroll these gardens for any number of reasons. These places may have had themes, or maybe they just created a theme for what really is a bathroom. Slowly and inexorably, the work goes on. It's difficult to imagine and calculate and appreciate how much has gone into this place over time since they came out from underneath their Soviet occupation. What we take for granted as the basics may simply be a tremendous amount of investment of time and money. This is the precise layout of it.